If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome to Reading Class with Ms. Brown. Today we will be working on book 129. So the first thing you're going to have to do if this is your first time is to grab your writing book. It's like this. Open to a fresh page. And then we're going to head up. Okay, so you're going to head up the same way every day. On the left, you're going to put the book and then the number. Underneath, you're going to write the title. So the book that we're going to be doing today is Growing a Giant. Okay, so Growing a Giant. And we're going to do some word work, 2-syllable words. Okay, so you can write everything that I have on the flip chart. So at this point, you can press pause to get everything written down. Okay. All right, so we're going to begin. So in reading and in writing, syllables are very important. Do you remember what syllables are? I'm sure you learned it somewhere along the way. So syllables are word parts. A word is broken down into parts. It might just be one syllable, just the whole word itself. It might be 2 syllables. So we attend pageant, 2 syllables. Okay. Or it could be 3 syllables. Wednesday. It's important to recognize syllables because it can help you with your reading. When you come across some really long words and you're like, how do I say this word? You can break the word down to parts. Or with your spelling. If you can spell each section, then you'll have a better chance of spelling it correctly. All right, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to give you some words. And together, we are going to write these words into syllables. Grab a red. All right, so the first word is the word hectic. Hectic, like I'm having a hectic day. I'm so stressed out, so much going on. Hectic. How many parts do you hear? Hectic. So 2 parts. All right, so I'm going to write the word hectic. Okay? Next word is tennis, like we like to play tennis. How many parts do you hear? Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick. In the word tennis, it's spelled Tennis. Normally when you have a double letter in the middle of a word, you can split right in between. So, I'll show you what I mean. Ten, that's 10. And then we're going to split right in between the double N. Nis. Tennis. Next word, letter. Like there are 26 letters in the alphabet. Letter. Okay, this one has a double letter again. So L-E-T, split, T-E-R. 3 more. Magnet. You have a south-directional magnet and a north-directional magnet. Magnet. M-A-G, mag, N-E-T, net. Index. This is where you can find information at the back of the book about different topics. I-N-D-E-X, index. And the last word, princess. Princess. 2 syllables, prin, P-R-I-N, / C-E-S-S. Okay? All right. So, now you're going to have some independent practice. And you're going to be writing all of this in your writing book. And I'm going to collect your books when you return to school and we'll be able to see how you did. So I'm going to give you some words. And I want you to write them in your writing book, but I want you to divide them into syllables just like we did here. Okay? Ready? First word is happen. When did this happen? Happen. And if you ever feel that I'm moving too fast, just press pause, write what you need to write, and then you can unpause me. Next word, kitten. A kitten is a baby cat. Kitten. Four more. Next word, problem. She had to solve the problem. Next word, better. Is the weather better in the winter or the summer? 2 more. Whisper. You should whisper when you're in a movie theater. Whisper. And the last word is summer. It's been so cold, I can't wait until the summer. Okay? All right. So that is all the work we're going to do right now for word work. So next, I want you to grab your book, Growing a Giant, and then we're going to begin our reading portion of the lesson. Okay, so I hope that you have your book, Growing a Giant, and we are going to begin. So we read part of this book in class. So I never knew that you could actually grow giant pumpkins. I thought that pumpkins were maybe about this big at the most, but I never knew that a pumpkin could weigh more than me, and I weigh quite a bit. So this is a nonfiction text. Nonfiction means that it is true. We can tell it's nonfiction by the photographs, okay? We can tell that it's nonfiction by some of the text features. So text features are items in a text that you can recognize that gives you more information about that text. So we have a table of contents. A table of contents breaks the book down into different sections. So it's important to have a look at the table of contents so that we know what all the sections are. So the sections are a big contest, competing with the world, small beginnings, a vine fit for a giant, shocking growth, pumpkin problems, and the winner is. Okay, let's look at some other text features. Here we have a heading. It's important to read the headings because they tell us what the section is about. They often give you some facts about the photograph. They also give you some captions. Captions give you more information about the picture. So don't ever, a lot of students sometimes skip the captions. Oh, that's not important. Always read the captions because they're going to give you more information about the photographs. Okay. Additionally, in a nonfiction text, another text feature might be a map. The map also gives you more information. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to read a very short bit of this with you, and I want you to put me on pause and then read the rest on your own. Today we're going to be looking at textual evidence. So evidence means proof. If I ask you a question about something based on the book, you should be able to find the proof in the book. Okay, so let's start on page 2 and 3. A big contest. When Christy Hart was 13, she found out about a big contest. A basket of pumpkin seeds sat in a store. A sign read, "Take a free seed, grow it, and bring it back in October to the weigh-off." Also, boys and girls, if you haven't watched my other videos, you have a closed caption button at the bottom of YouTube. It's a CC little tab. If you click on that, all the words I say come up nice and big if you want to just have that as an additional way to read. That's when judges would weigh the pumpkins and the heaviest pumpkin would win. Okay, page 3. Christy had never grown a pumpkin, but she wanted to try. As she watched her pumpkin grow, she was hooked on the idea of growing giant pumpkins. She said, "You can go away for 2 days and come back and say, 'That doesn't even look like the same thing I left 2 days ago.' They just get that big that fast." Her seed grew into a pumpkin that weighed 105 pounds. And in parentheses, they're letting you know how many kilograms it is. The reason why is because different countries use different weights of measure. So some countries use pounds, some countries use kilograms. They're showing you that. She didn't win that weigh-off contest, but 14 years later, Christy grew a pumpkin that got the world's attention. Okay, some facts. Name that pumpkin. A pumpkin is a type of fruit called a squash. There are many different kinds of squash around the world. People in some places use the word pumpkin differently. In the United States and Great Britain, people mean the round, hard, orange squash when they say pumpkin. This is the type of squash the people in this book are growing. But in places like Australia and New Zealand, the word pumpkin means any kind of squash, not just the round, hard, orange kind. Okay, so I told you that we're going to be working on finding textual evidence. Evidence is proof. So an example of this, I might ask you, how old was Christy when she first found out about growing pumpkins and the pumpkin contest? So you would have to scan through, look through to find out where it talks about Christy and her age. In the very first line, it says, right here, when Christy Hart was 13, she found out about a big contest. Okay, so it's very important as a reader to be able to go back in the text, find evidence that you can prove your response. So at this point, I want you to put me on pause to finish reading Growing a Giant. Okay, so at this point, you should have had enough time to finish reading Growing a Giant. All right, so let's look at this middle section right here, Comprehension, Textual Evidence. Text just means the book, okay? And remember, evidence means proof. So I have 4 questions here, very straightforward questions that I want you to go back in the book and find responses to. All of this work, you're going to be doing it in your writing books that I sent home with you. And then when you return next week, you're going to give me your writing book and I'm able to see your responses. Okay? All right, so first question. What family of fruits do pumpkins belong? So you might not even have to look back if you were paying attention, but if not, look back and find in the book where it talks about the family of fruits that pumpkins belong. Number 2, look at the map on page 7. So you would have to flip through, find page 7. What information does it give us? Okay, very straightforward. So flip back to page 7 and tell me what information the map gives you. Number 3. What can you add to soil to make it more nutritious? Okay, so more nutritious means more healthy, more vitamins. So somewhere in the book they talk about how you can make soil more nutritious. So you need to find that section and provide me with the response. And the last question, there are challenges to growing big pumpkins. Which section would we find these challenges? So at the very beginning of the book, they had all the table of contents broke down, all the different sections. I want you to be able to look back and find evidence that proves which section talks about the challenges of growing big pumpkins. Okay? All right, so before you say goodbye to me, make sure you pause and write these questions down because you'll be responding to them in your writing books. Okay? So I hope that you learned something new, and I will see you for the next lesson.